you feel it when he starts to kind of work out how that defense is playing. He's going to be able to bully you, and he's going to be able to create loads of space for the team and for some of the slower players to get into position. So I think, honestly, this Gen.G lineup is so promising, because if you add, like Ben-Tet in there as well, once Ben-Tet starts getting more familiar with, speaking English more in the team and being, somebody that starts to, flourish in terms of how he fits into the system, oh my god, the firepower on this team is going to be so insane, because you can say the same thing for Automatic. This guy also has a super high ceiling, and Kusa can go off as well. Daps, he doesn't need to do too much, James. Doesn't need to do too much lifting.
Man like Daps. He's got a nice new look with his glasses.
I'll do whatever it takes to. What boost are you even talking about?
It's certainly an entertaining team, I must say that.
Yeah, I can hear some chit chat from the players on the just getting ready to start this game. It's going to be pretty interesting. Even with the shortcomings for Envy, like the standard and so on, yeah. I think we are going to get to learn a fair bit about the team. So perhaps they can show some promise here. And by no means, I mean, who knows? There could be a surprise. We've seen people win with stand-ins and coaches before, so that might happen here as well. Of course, it is Train we're going to start off with, and Gen.G will be on the CT side. The game will be starting very shortly indeed. Train, Inferno, Mirage will be your maps. If we do get to Mirage, I think, at least from my experience of Mihu, like on the CT side, that's where you'll get to see what he likes to do individually the most. Definitely has his own play style, which I've actually copied on Mirage amongst other people, but here we go, 10 seconds now before we start things off. Calix will be the grenade man, along with Nifty for Team Envy on the T side. I don't see any P250s just yet, which is one thing. If you look at like an RV, for example, you'll always see simple P250s. People are starting to realize how much power that can have. And here come the grenades into the A-bomb site. Calix now deploying a flashbang as Mihu makes his way to Wolof.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough to break this defense, but it's already a good start there. Brian able to deliver one headshot. There's much more to go, though, as we'll see, Legia making his way forward on the bomb train. Able to get a quick trade there, though, is Som, as we will have that bomb. Is having trouble getting planted, but there is now the space to do so. They've got the player advantage as well. Kusta, Daps, and Som looking to go for this retake now. That bomb is ticking away. It's very problematic, but what's more problematic is that Daps is now alone. No teammates to help him out here, and it looks like he is going to be in for some serious trouble, taking a lot of damage in that engagement despite being able to win it. The bomb, or rather the smoke will get on top of the bomb there to try to cover, well, I was just going to say try to cut off some angles here, but it's not really going to work out at all. It's a very desperate situation. Let's not sugarcoat it. Daps will indeed go down, and Envious will start on the T side with that first round one, and that's going to really help out as they are the underdogs here. Get off to a good start on that T side.
Mac 10s are coming out for the likes of Legia and Calix. We've got Nifty with the UMP. It looks like a force buy from Gen.G. Double scouts, Ben-Tet and Automatic. Not often you see Ben-Tet with a scout, so curious to see if there's anything to be done here. There's a HG on every player as well for Gen.G. They'll start throwing most of them towards main, but Automatic will hold on to his for the time being. The Krieg is out on Ryan. So Envy have got a mixed bag here in terms of weaponry. They've got the investigation men, the Mac 10s and so on. Ryan holding the angle for the long range. And the Mac 10s to try and sweep things up as well, although Calix has been dropped early by Daps. He's been taken out now by Ryan. Mihu pushing the envelope with the AK-47, taking the entire train yard, which is always what you want to do. That's not what you want, though. A deagle in the face.
Yeah, that's might be problematic if they can collect that gun as well. It is in a forward position. Gusa has now made his way forward towards it. It is an AK, not the Krieg, but that will do. Ben-Tet doing some good damage there to Ryan, although Ryan over the top of the flames will find Kusta. Kusta perhaps couldn't even see him behind all of the Molotov graphics there, so that will be problematic. And Automatic's left alone, really not with much to do here, just to hold on to the scout and bring it into the next round where they will be full saving. So having a little bit of extra firepower here will be helpful. He will be able to hear that one extra player. Oh, he gets a tag as well. Looking to finish it off. He might be able to steal a weapon away if he's able to get this kill. He's never really chased down Nifty. Oh, he can't get the kill. That would have been an upgrade too. Really could have been a big deal, but Nifty will defend. And into round 3 we go. And Envious are certainly feeling good about this start so far.
Yeah, on the back foot on the CT side, never the start you want. And again, this is probably the start Envy need a hell of a lot more than Gen.G, at least on paper, but sometimes paper can be wrong. There's a pop flash that may have been picked up by Kusta. We'll see what the intention is Flashbang is being held at the moment. He's around connector. Teammates moving around a train yard. There goes the flash, but no one's really got any position to do much with it. Daps has got a P250 and a smoke grenade here. USP's on the remainder. And now it is just Daps. Won't last very long. A nice clean 3-0 for Envy to start off train.
Yes, it's looking really good. But the AWP's going to come out on automatic. There are some concessions here. There are some... It's not really the optimal situation, of course, this first buy for Gen.G. They've got to make some choices. They don't have all of the utility they want in the world. And you can see automatic, to get some utility with the AWP, he's going to have to sacrifice having any armor with that as well. And there being a Mac 10 out in the field, that can create some issues. And there is also Som without a helmet. So definitely some issues here for Gen.G. We'll see if they can mitigate that with their approach. And they're going quite aggressive in the A yard, trying to get 4 positions. Nice pick from automatic. Those 4 positions working out, as Envious will lose a man early.
Automatic still on the AWP for Gen.G. He is a very strong player with it, but I really feel like after Jason ruined Kusta's career, he was able to come back with the AWP and really be something. And maybe we'll see that in future, but I think there are some variations to be had there. But if Automatic delivers the goods, the thing is, as Sean said, Automatic's pretty much good at everything, so I'd like to see him do some other things as well, but that might not be necessary for Gen.G after all. 5 versus 3 now. That flashbang not quite hitting the mark. There are actually a lot of different fadeaway pop flashes a CT can throw towards Ivy. You can see Nico from FaZe as a good one by the nearest train ladder. Anyway, we've got a minute on the clock for Envy to try and keep that clean sheet. 3 players remaining.
Yeah. What's unfortunate about that smoke going a little bit too deep there on team main is the fact that, as you can see, Mihu's able to actually see if a player would have crept up towards one side. And just having, like, if you throw that smoke, what's cool is that they don't know if you can, have crept up somebody close in the close positions or not. So they have to then check those positions. But of course, Mihu has that information, so there is some comfort. They know no one's close, as there was the gap there. Automatic though is elevated, and that's going to be another frag. Beautiful stuff. They're playing really passive here, playing it by the book. And Envy is certainly unable to find a way to make this one work. Lovely stuff from Gen.G. They'll pick up the first round there, and that's some good protocol, James. That's some good protocol from Gen.G. They get the man advantage. They know how to play it. They know the situation Envious is in. They have a really cool CT setup here, and it doesn't really seem like Envious could have ever found a way to defeat this. It's so well fortified after they get that 2-man advantage.
Being really vocal as well, which is always good to see. AWP's out for both sides now. Envy with more serious guns, more Kriegs, 2 AKs. Got a pop flash play from Daps as a quick look, but you don't want to outstay your welcome. Going 1-for-1 is simply not enough early for a CT side. You want to get 2 with a play like that, so he will reduce the variance and fall back. Daps alone on the B bomb site. Pop flash avoided, but there's a second one. A chain flash catches Bente, and he goes down for free. Calix with a nice punish. That was a nice little strat from Envy. The chain flash is so important in Counter-Strike.
And it's definitely really good to be able to deal with Bente. That's going to be a dynamic we'll keep our eye on in how that develops. And how does Bente continue to try to evolve how he's holding on to the ladder position and so on. But we see that in this case, Som will replace him, so they have that forward information. Envious might not count on that, and they may not count on a fast flank, which is also the other benefit of having a CT in that ladder room position. We'll see how that pans out as now the push comes in towards the B-bomb side. The bomb's making its way across halls, but it won't be there for a while. And look at this, Daps is able to defend against the first player. That's a very slow peek into the position that Daps was holding. Mihu will go down, but the trade comes in as they have players up high. But it's a 2v3 here for Gen.G. This will be expensive, as it looks like they're going to go for it, James. I'm not so convinced, though.
2 Molotovs for Envy, but one's going to be deployed. They have to bear in mind that the bomb was planted on an elevated position. If it comes down to it later and they try to bounce a molly off the door, you can see a flank from Legia is in play as well, with the Kree coming in from the back. And Automatic is likely to lose his AWP, but he's ready for the flank. He's aware of it. Automatic with big brain plays. He'll hold on to that, but Envy make their way to round number 4. Again, the team's shouting at each other. They're pretty close to each other, but of course, there is a drape between them that comes down once the match starts. So they can't get any free information with the flashbangs and such. 4-1 Envy.
Yeah, this is looking great off the back of that initial 3-round opening. Gen.G's loss bonus obviously is going to be just savaged by them winning that round, which really puts Gen.G in a position where they have the AWP, they want to turn things around straight away and just spend all the money they can here. And they're opting to get as much firepower as they possibly can. They've got 3 M4s to buy around the AWP and a scout on Bentet. So I doubt Bentet will be taking that scout to the ladder room. Maybe we'll see somebody else in that position, or maybe they'll avoid that position altogether and show us a different opener. As we do see 2 going towards Ivy here. There's a fast approach towards Olofmeister there from Mihu. He's created some space for his team. Can harass these positions as well. Automatic misses the shot. There's the smoke that allows Mihu to get close. It's going to be very difficult there, I think, for Mihu to get value. But there might be a moment that he may not suspect this. But straight into Som, who's right behind the smoke. And now it's up to the B play.
Yeah, and on the plus side, the rotation might be a little longer, but Daps will deliver for the time being. Going for that long spray as well. Take off Calyx away, 2 versus 4. We'll see what post-plant positions they can get into here, Envy. Calyx doing what he can with the scope. There's no flank just yet, but Envy have to be aware that it's possible, which causes them more problems. Smoke towards Connect will certainly help. Maybe he gets an angle. Avoid the flashbangs for now. There's a first spray. Now it's a 2 versus 3. Molotovs all over the place. Calyx still trying to run distraction. Ryan stuck in default. He sees 2 of them, but he can't take any down. Down to Ryan. He gets traded immediately by the numbers game. And Envy get their second round on the board, but only 2 players survive.
You gotta just marvel and just really enjoy the double peaks from the CTs into those 2 defending T players. Like, not only isolating them, but getting these perfect double peaks, just guaranteeing a trade frag. That's actually so beautiful. Like, it cannot actually be more optimal than that. So really cool to see that. I don't know if it was, the plan for it to work out that way, but that's how it did. But like, watching synchronized swimming or something. Beautiful stuff. And then they both, there you go, you can see them both swinging together there into the other channel. Absolutely fantastic stuff there for Gen.G, and indeed a very needed round. But the response from Envy will be just as strong as they go for the full buy here. And Gen.G going to look to continue their success.
MP9 out for Daps. But again, he's playing close range, so this is fine. And he's no stranger to having taking the shortcomings for his team. Almost a signature at this point, putting his teammates in the best possible position to win. 3-man on road towards the IV position. Very timely smoke grenade from Kustai. He'll be very aware of the potential boost and peak. It is hard to see over from the CT perspective. Nifty having a look, but Kustai will be rotating to a better position. Legia's crept up. Will Kustai start to peak now? He walks in, that's a free kill for Legia. Big position. On the kill cam, maybe he sees 2. Can't imagine he will see 3. Som will create a wall for himself. Avoids the flashbang easily. He's got a little trick though over the smoke, but he gets traded again. Legia with a second now.
Automatic close range with the AWP. This is difficult, and he won't anticipate the movement from Legia. 2 versus 2 now, as Gen.G are certainly behind here. They are locked in the ladder room behind that smoke. Bentet is critically low. I don't know how they get out of this situation. Legia has this situation under lock and key. He's going for the ace here, but Daps will find the trade, not expecting there to be another man so close, Legia. But he's done so much for his team here, and Nifty, does he find the timing? Oh, it looks like he may just get that. Oh, yeah, he's going to get it. I was hoping that there wouldn't be a crazy whiff there or something. Nifty indeed takes his time, hits the shot, and that's once again Gen.G back in the doldrums with less than $3,000 in all their players.
Nifty had a lot to say at the beginning of this tournament, and some 2 teams which didn't end up being in his particular group, but I think he'll have a lot to prove as this tournament moves forward, and then there'll be a lot of eyes on him as well. So a 5-2 start here versus Gen.G on the T side of Train. A very good start, and they can keep the confidence with that. And we're in tow with Ryan at the moment, another young player who we're not too familiar with. Again, up and coming in terms of the upper echelons of Counterstrike. Heard Sean talking about him coming out of MDL, so we'll see if he's able to deliver versus these teams. And again, Mihu, a Polish talent, getting the opening kill on Som there. This is an eco round for Gen.G. Now, Bentet will be quite dangerous with the CZ75. Daps has got the P250 as well. Best gun in the game, P250. Minute 10 on the clock. Envy will move together as a squad. Helps them protect the weapons should something go wrong. They'll try to keep some map control with Ryan lurking around with a Mac 10. As you can see, Gen.G seem to be a little hungry towards the B bomb site. The map odds for Train are changing. You can lay the money down in running, but it's getting closer.
I know there were some concerns raised about the CT sides for Gen.G by Maniac, I believe it was. So we'll see if this is something that they can find a way to fix. Obviously, it can be pretty rough on the CT side when you never really get optimal buys. You can never really get into a flow. But also credit to Team Envy for finding ways to efficiently deal with the round open and find advantages there, and then find ways forwards. I think obviously that sort of sequence from Legia that we saw where he got the 4K, that was pretty huge. There was some big plays from the stand-in. Obviously, Legia has spent a lot of time competing, playing professional Counterstrike himself, and spent a lot of time coaching as well. So definitely one of the better options in terms of teams that have to use their coach.
6-2. Gen.G, where are you? It's time to show up. It's time for him to buy once again. Automatic picks up the AWP. Just the one. Kusa goes for the FAMAS. Got 2 French guns on deck for Gen.G. Plenty of grenades as well. Automatic has got his Kevlar. No grenades for him, but the priority is the AWP. Not the worst thing in the world. He has the luxury of the tight choke points of Train, and maybe that will make up for it. Ryan heads towards the B-bomb site where Daps is alone once again. There's quick rotation as Automatic is in connector, so we can move around quickly now. Envy have dropped 3 grenades on the A-bomb site, as you can see on the radar with the red rings around them. That obscures a lot of vision of choke points for Gen.G. There could be a T-play towards Olof, for example. So this may encourage Gen.G to have more aggressive angles on the A-bomb site, and indeed they do with a smoke on the ladder. You can see that Som's moving forward for a pop flash, I think. Ryan having a look around ladder and seeing that nobody's in there. No entry into A main itself just yet, but Gen.G seem to be about to do that.
I like this call as well from Envy to get those smokes out in the AR, just to try to deplete any utility Gen.G might have. Gen.G might think, oh, they're going to execute, we should throw the counter utility. Envious know they have a massive utility advantage. They know that Gen.G can't have much here. They want to deplete it as much as possible before they go for their final push onto a bomb site. And then there won't be any utility left to defend with, which really increases Envious's chances of success.
This rotation has been taking a while for Gen.G. They had 2 players in A main. They've only now put Automatic in the B bomb site, but you still only have 2 of the 3 players. Maybe looking for a late rotation through ladder, but that won't be the case as the grenades come in towards B. Daps with an off angle, letting them creep out of the ramp. He'll get his bell rung and then more. Automatic now trying to do what he can, but he's up against the world. He tagged but no frag, and it's 2 versus 5. I feel like Gen.G maybe could have been braver and put more people towards the B-bomb site, but but it seems they were unsure. There we go. More confidence now being shown by Envy. Again, if they can tilt their opponents, having such a crap start to Train, then that'll definitely be good for them.
Uh-oh. Here comes the MAC-10. Got full HP, he's hungry. And they have no helmets, James. It's going to be, oh, this is going to be so ideal. You will throw the high flash, but they will actually defend. They will be able to turn away in time. They heard the toss of the flash. They knew it was coming.
Ooh, Nifty definitely doesn't want to overinvest here with the AWP alone.
Alone,
This is really not worth it. You don't want to drop an AWP to your opponent, especially when there's 2 there.
Ooh, he's confident,
He
though.
might get a cheeky one. Oh,
so close.
Come on, man. To be continued.
It's a tactical timeout. That's coming in.
I'm not sure that's a risk you want to take, though, with an AWP, man.
That was a big opening kill from Calyx onto Daps. Daps obviously on the FAMAS there, so perhaps that was partly what the deal was for Daps to not be able to get the kill. The FAMAS it's not nearly as reliable, unfortunately, especially against those very high-powered rifles from the T side. And then I think if you look at Automatic's situation, where it looked like he had 2 lined up, and then he got pretty much, without missing, the least possible he could possibly have got from 2 players lining up, where he legs the first guy, and then basically just doesn't end up having any impact in that position. If he gets 1 kill on the 2 from the double, obviously maybe that round looks a little bit different, but it snowballed after that the lack of a kill there. So Gen.G, they're really struggling here, but there's we have no idea what to expect from the second half as well just yet from them. But they are on the struggle bus.
So far, so good for Calyx. This CT side so far has been a non-starter for Gen.G. Kusta with the FAMAS and 2 pistols, basically waiting to be put out of their misery, and Calyx will do that. His 3rd kill of the round. It's been a long time since Space Soldiers. Very vocal players on the Envy side of things. And there's no response just yet from Gen.G. Kusta staring at the ceiling. But right now there is no God, not for Gen.G.
Kusta is in a decent position, but you see Leggy goes for the swing. That's a great kill, but the trade is there. Calyx in the hall's ready for it. Som versus 4 with the Deagle in hand. Lots of time for Envy to make this one work. Som, they don't know where he is. He's got the element of surprise, but with the Deagle, 7 bullets, that's all he has to work with to make this work, and he can't get the first shot off, or to connect, I should say, as Ryan takes him down, and Envy, now they're 8 rounds up, or rather 6 rounds up, I should say, but 8 rounds in total on their T side, which is obviously a very strong start, given that there's so much left to play for in terms of rounds. They could end up with so much more. This is kind of unreal. So much success found, and they are loving it so far. But this is the best buy in round 11, James, that we have seen from Gen.G.
Yeah, 2nd AWP now for Kusta. Maybe he will be the difference. Plenty of early grenades for Gen.G. Flashes. There's a deep Molotov actually through Ivy where 3 Envy players are waiting. And now they're going to have to spend some utility just in case there are CTs close. And indeed, I mean, when we saw 2 people walk in from Gen.G into main, they didn't use any flashbangs. There was no warning for Envy, and automatically done the same. He's just straight up walked in to a main here, which may catch Envy off guard. Obviously, Mihu knows he doesn't know what's around the corner. But normally you've got no sound cues of the flashbangs and so on. I mean, there was a Molotov in there earlier on, but that's nothing untoward. Automatic now quietly moving away. Doesn't want to get caught by more than 1 player moving through. Kusta, though, considers going for a cheeky peek, but Nifty's just waiting for exactly that to happen.
Yes, good cover. More sound cues have been made. I think that Gen.G probably identified the kind of default that they're looking at. You can see Kusta has that angle. Got to be careful, all the nades coming through. Nifty again with that AWP holding the angle. There's the first connection. It's looking good for Gen.G. The bomb's down on the ground now as Kusta is just hammering them with the AWP. And now it's just the pole. Mihu, he's all that stands now for Envious, and he won't stand for too much longer.
Told you, man. Kusta's the truth now.
Kusta, the truth.
The post Jason O'Toole era. Kusta is the man. I want to see him on the AWP more. I mean, this peak was fair enough from Legia. He tried to trade the frag for his teammate before Kusta would shoot again. Unfortunately, couldn't get out fast enough. And then the jiggle pick wasn't so much of a jiggle. There was way too much body shown. Tried to bait the shot. He did bait the shot. Unfortunately, it killed him. And Gen.G make it to 3. That's a huge round for them. But Envy are back. They've got AWP on Nifty once again. They've pretty much got a straight up full buy. They've had plenty of success. Nifty taking a lot of damage going for the peak. You can even spray with a rifle through that wall. You don't need an AWP or a deagle. So it's a very dangerous peak for CT players.
It really is. A slower start from Envious, and you can see that they're focusing a lot on the halls control. And they have options everywhere to create presence across the map. So Gen.G don't really have too much in the way of information. Nifty with that AWP, the scoping. I'm not sure if that will be heard by Dabs. That would be key information. Molotov to 1G. That's forced to a reposition.
Yeah, it's forcing utility as well. You can see that Envy are not in a position to capitalize on any kind of rotation because the bomber's outside main. And Mihi went to collect it. And will be quietly going back towards B bomb site, it seems. But if they do choose to execute into B, obviously there'll be a little less to defend with. See some preemptive Molotovs from Gen.G, but Envy are not quite ready just yet. So this is all to their advantage. And again, they've gone for another Molotov at the back of the bomb train, which would encourage you to dump more utility. If you look at this point now, there's only 2 flashes and a HE here for Gen.G, which they can't do much with, but they can certainly work with guns. Automatic and Daps will get off to a roaring start. The Krieg in the hands of Daps is great. Nifty will trade, but it's a 2 versus 4 now. Jumping over to plant the bomb, and that might be all they get out of this round.
Yeah, there is definitely a way to save this. That smoke will create some additional space. They do have a man able to deal with the flank, maybe take up the high ground, but Nifty is actually extremely isolated right now, and he's going to have to pull off something pretty miraculous to find a way out of this one. He spots the first one just around the side of the smoke. Nifty's in such trouble right now, trying to dance around the train. There's only so much that he can do before he gets taken down. It was a good effort. He will extract one additional kill out of that situation. As you say, they've got the bomb down too, so that is helpful in the overall scheme of things. But Gen.G, they're really looking much better right now, so that's good to see.
Yeah, seems they needed some warm-up, which cost them a few rounds, but they're definitely popping now. Dap's putting in great work. I mean, it's so much nicer when you have a Krieg rather than the FAMAS. He gets 2 before he falls on his sword. Nifty doing what he could around the smoke, but he wasn't really given the right angles by his opponent. And there's a tack timeout from Envy to slow down this Gen.G train of all of 2 rounds, as they are back on another buy with double AWPs Gen.G. Envy have bought for the most part, but they've still got a few people to pick up some weapons and grenades. It'll be AKs and AWP once again. But how do they stop the rots here and get back to winning ways, Envy? Has to be a discussion. What have they learned from the recent rounds? What have Gen.G changed, which has given them some success in the last 2 rounds?
Yeah, it does look like they're more comfortable. I think, obviously, some of it does come down to hitting shots, and also some of it is coming down to just being able to anticipate what's going on. And I think both of those things have been effectively what has changed at the same time. So we'll see if they can continue that. They really need every last rounds. 8 rounds on the T side on train is just actually so good. So comfortable. Ryan not expecting the off angle. That's a really devious off angle from Davs. He's going to pick up the kill there, and as well, that's going to help out Som. Not going to have to worry about as many players from the ladder room position. That really forward spot around that smoke, but the smoke won't be up forever. He's going to take the fight before it goes away, and Calyx is going to win that battle. Automatic won't land a shot towards Sandwich. He goes for another one. He gets the leg shot, but there's still a 3v3.
Leggy is in a very important position here. He could do a hell of a lot with this. Only Damps going to be on site once again. Spots second player. Can't quite get the spray though, but he's got a lot of information. Leaves automatic with 25 HP. Everybody's low though for all teams. And it might be down to the AWPs here. Nifty takes automatic out, and now Daps has crept over from the B bomb site. I'm not sure if he saw any of Nifty there. Nifty seems to have an idea as to where Daps is, so he might have just seen something. Bomb moving over towards the B bomb site now. Side plant, of course. Calyx could be anywhere, inviting Daps to rotate, but with 12 HP in a 1 versus 2, he seemed to have an idea, so I guess they did see each other, but Nifty's got the AWP and the round, 9-4.
Wow, Leggy is going to be happy with that, James, because he had 2 players dead to rights. Again, I think as Maniac mentioned on the desk, or the couches, I should say, that you can't expect a huge amount mechanically from Legia, as he is no longer a pro player himself. He is, in fact, in the coaching position, so you can't be too hard on him for missing that, but it's certainly nice to see your team pick up the pieces.
Yeah, we've got a reasonable buy on both teams still. Just 1 sniper now for Gen.G. Daps on the MP9 once again. Legia on the MAC-10. There's a lack of helmets for the most part. Daps has picked one up, which might be smart as the lone B player who's forced to play close as well. Maybe that'll have a part to play in this round later on. Envy have been quite active towards Ivy in this half. And once again, they've got 2 players here. Legia showing some presence with the MAC-10. Maybe trying to get a cheeky dink in. Som got to be careful about showing his shadow as he creeps towards main. There are angles where you can give free information to a T side. Gen.G now with Kustar towards the B-bomb site as well, spotting the upper area where Ryan's been lurking round after round. And he's lurking with a Krieg as well, which could be very dangerous indeed.
Som's at a good spot here. It does get that information. It is also potentially quite an exposed spot. Gen.G, are they reading the movements as it's happening? That's a really big part of a CT side. You can read the T movement as it's happening. You can obviously get your players in position in time. It's so much about knowing what the Ts are doing. And look at Nifty go. He's straight out of T main there with a cheeky pop onto Bentep, but just at the same moment. Oh dear, Daps didn't expect that. That's the information you need, but maybe is it too late? Because look how far Calyx is getting right now. Up through towards Connector. He's going to try to do what he can. Mihu will take down automatic. They have no idea about Calyx. Oh no, this is so bad for Kusa. He is getting stalked right now by Calyx. And this could just end the round. Kai's waiting for the perfect moment, sees both players, and taps them down.
Marvelous stuff. Daps pulling his knife out just a little too early there. Just a little too early. Ooh, that's a nasty one from Nifty. I'm surprised he was alive for that long. When he initially jumped on the ladder, he jumped on the box, knifed the wall. I never understand why people knife walls in professional matches, because it's just free sound cues you don't need to give away. But anyway, had 0 impact on that round. Envy make it to double figures on the T side of Train. 5v4. We got some wallbangs towards connector being attempted by Nifty. No connection made, and we have an increase in MP9s for Gen.G. Pentet forced to pick one up. Kusta on the 5-7 only, and now automatics on the scout. So things have gone from bad to real bad for Gen.G in this half. And the gimmicks are out. You see Kusta's halfway up Ivy in an off angle with that 5-7. One shot will be enough. Seems he might drop a smoke grenade though. Maybe to help his own exit, but it seems he will commit to the position. So we'll see how this one plays out. More flashbangs. And there'll be a bait setup as well. Automatic sends the late smoke grenade in. In the meantime, we have Envy moving around the map. I think Bentet might be in the ladder room. He's got the angle for the drop, basically. So where his crosshair is more or less where someone's head will be if they drop in a normal fashion. But Envy quietly heading towards B.
Yeah, and Gen.G have the info that the presence on Ivy was a fake. So you can see they're already rotating players towards that B bomb site. They have a really good read of this situation because there's so little time left and there's no ground towards the A site. And there they go, into Daps, into the scout. There's the jump. Lovely stuff from Daps using that jumping accuracy with the MP9 and automatic. Just making it a little bit sweeter with that scout, and it's a good finish, James. It's 5-10, but it might not be enough rounds. We'll have to see if Gen.G can pick up things on that second half after the break.
We're about to come out in the field, play our best, knock some other teams down, probably talk some more shit. It'll be fun, like WWE.
And we are back. We change sides, and Envy moving to the CT side with 10 rounds over a heavy favourite in Gen.G. You could see Pinnacle were panicking there, changing the odds pretty quickly, at least for the first map with the success they had on the T side. Who can blame them? Very interesting times indeed. Are you still confident? I mean, are you calling? Okay, now we have half a game's information. Half a game's information. Do you think it's going to be a 2-0 for Gen.G?
So I'm confident still in the best of 3 overall for Gen.G, but I was definitely, as you say, pulling for that 2-0 because they had that. They didn't drop a single map when they recently won DreamHack Open Anaheim, Gen.G that is, and so you know I like streaks, James. I want a streak to continue, but you know, such is the way of life. You can't always have what you want, and Gen.G they really have their backs against the wall here in terms of this first map. We'll have to see how they engineer a comeback.
Look at that. It's a P250, Dan. Automatic's got the P250. He's been made the raid boss, presumably dropped it by Daps, who's got the smoke and the flashbang. So they know, man. They know about the P250. The P250 has longer one-shot range in a pistol round than the USP. Those are the hard facts. Automatic, he's fishing for something, but he will get taken up by Nifty. Inferior range, no matter. Ryan up in that spot. That's a very nice gimmick. Beautiful shots from Mihu and Ivy. He's got the bomb in his hands, and there's no answer to any of these frags just yet from Gen.G. Bentet's got it all to do, but there'll be no Bentet highlight. God damn. You guys are terrible is the shout from across the way. Confidence. I like it. Welcome to North America, people.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough start for Gen.G. There's no doubt about that, and it's cool to see that Envious are happy to dish out the smack, James.
Elbows. You guys are terrible. 11-5 for Envy. There's no force buy from Gen.G. They got 5 Glocks.
Yeah.
5 Glocks on road. It's Mihu now, getting very aggressive, looking to shut this down before Gen.G are allowed to play whatever game they had in mind. Now Daps is just entertaining because the push is coming in towards that B bomb site. And only Riot is there, I believe. Doing great work though. That bomb still needs to cross. The bells will be rung, but he's still alive. Spotted some as well, very aware. I love it.
Ooh, it's aggressive.
I know. It's very aggressive, isn't it?
It's too early in the morning for that, James.
No, it's never too early for aggression. I used to leave my house every day, listening to 50 Cent "Death to My Enemies." that was my breakfast music as I went for a morning stroll. So it's never too early for aggression. You should always be aggressive. 3 FAMASs, 2 M4s for Team Envy. It's not a great start. They have utility though. They've sacrificed, but is it going to pay off? Kusta's charging forward. He's Wing through the smoke. Automatic doing what he can, but it's only 1 kill. Can they swarm the site here, Gen.G? They've put Envy on their back already with only 3. Make it 2 players. This is very fast advancing, and the answers are limited, but Calyx will do something by E-Box, taking out Kusta.
Yeah, they still have the bomb train. I like this high-energy approach from Gen.G, and they're going to finish it off quite nicely. And that's one of the best things about being on the T side as opposed to the CT side. If you're having a hard time, you just can turn the pace up to 100% and just charge at your opponents, get those really high-energy moments where everybody's just firing off, and that can really lift the team up, especially obviously if it goes well. And that's kind of the point. And Envious, we're not ready for that. And you know what, Gen.G, they also realized that in that round like that, they have their opponents outgunned. Envious did not have as much firepower, you know, given the context. So they used that to their advantage, and here they are now. They forced Envious to the full save, and they better make this a good streak of rounds, James, because they should win this one, and there should be no looking back after that, because they're so far behind.
That was a big slap in the face to Envy. There were 2 Deagles, now there's just 1. Now there are none. 3 USPs and 2 flashbangs. Legia hasn't even been able to throw a flash just yet. Nifty playing, oh no.
Denied.
Oh, that was, yeah. I mean, I don't know what more he was going for. Maybe just waiting for him to stop moving, but either way, denied. Just like in the Quake days. Legia is alone now. And at this point, is it worth saving the flashbangs? Not something I think I've ever said before. Obviously, if he could pick up a weapon, that would be fantastic, but I don't know that he can even one-shot any of these players.
So I don't know if this is as good of a map as some others, like a Mirage for somebody like Som in terms of his entry fragging and so on, but I'm looking forward to, because I did highlight him saying that, you know, I expect him to be able to do some great damage and create a lot of space for Gen.G. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that will play on the T side, because that's really where he's strongest, in my opinion, is being that really high-paced, high-octane fragger, just opening up every spot that you could possibly want him to. And so this is the answer that Gen.G needed, James. I'm sure they'll lose the first couple rounds, but the first buy round counts. And now they've got Team Envious on the back foot.
Gen.G 80% on train. Envy have only played it once in the last 3 months. This roster doesn't really have too much in the name of statistics. They're 67% on Overpass and 60% on Mirage last 3 months. Everything else is less than 3 maps played. So we'll be making some new history now as they go through this one. 5-round lead for Envy, 2 AWPs on deck. Automatic looking to cause more problems for them. The only man who's deep on A at the moment, avoiding as much as he can. That pop flash needs some work because Automatic is not blind at all. And Calyx goes down for free. Nifty's there to trade though around the E-box position, but who else or what else is on the A bomb site?
Oof, trades all over the place here. That's actually Legia locking down Inner as well. There was a lurk out there. That lurk makes a lot of sense from Bentet because there's so much pressure towards the A bomb site. You could definitely see that Envious would be rotating players from B maybe to assist, but Bentet not finding an opening. Good defense from Legia, and now it's all on the Ivy rotation from Gen.G, but the setup here from Envious could be quite dangerous. Oh, the lineup there. Oh my god, he hit 3 players, James. Oh my god, that's so much damage in one shot. Nifty. Holy
potatoes.
Exactly.
Kusta and Daps don't have a lot left, but they're alive. They've collected the bomb. I don't even know if you can... I guess with the radar, at least, you'd see how many people were there. Because they were really lined up. They were taking tickets, man.
When do you see the 3, like the triple collapse? Well, obviously we didn't get 3 kills, but like connecting 3 players with 1 AWP bullet, that's so brutal.
It does, with 30 seconds left, that's pretty much shutting down the round.
Yeah.
They will just have to bide their time Envy moving to 13. This is a problem. Even if Gen.G have such great stats on this map at the moment, although the sample size is not huge, with such a crap start, there's only so many rounds you can lose before the game's over. Envy about to move to 13, so the margin for error becomes ever so small for Gen.G. They'll have 2 Kriegs moving into the next round, and the money's good for the most part. Bentet's a bit short, but he can be dropped if needed. Envy will be happy to save their 2 AWPs and a Krieg on Ryan.
Nifty's been putting in massive work here. He's been just a revelation in terms of how this train has gone so far with so many key kills. And look at this. Oh, jeez. Look at that. You just don't often see this, do you? Look at the lineup. That's insane. It doesn't matter that he didn't get all the kills because that shot won the round. And his previous shots in the round as well, of course. So as James mentioned, they'll be quite happy to be able to keep those orbs rolling on that CT side. This is a difficult game for Gen.G, a very difficult map of Counter-Strike so far. Nothing seems to be really going their way.
Well, they've got 4 Kriegs, and that's one way to change things. Oh, Legia, though, with the AWP, he is ready. No spray required. Going back to the well for another one, but Bentet was patient enough. Now, Gen.G will be aware that there could be a heavy rotation from Envy. Not committing just yet. There are 2 players now in the B-bomb site. They've been quiet, not wanting to reveal their positions. They haven't dumped grenades, although what grenades do they really have to dump? They've just got flashbangs, 1 HE and 1 smoke at this point. Ryan up top, spots an arm. That's a big clue, actually, but there's no rotation from Ivy. So these players must deliver, otherwise this round is over. Ryan gets taken out by default, and Calyx now in that choke point of Connector. What can he really do at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly a situation that is not looking like it's going to be salvageable. And I have a couple of things to say about Legia's peak there. So I think his re-peak, that is, from that position. So when you get that first kill, you get the 5v4 as a CT side. You know, the by-the-book play is to just fall back after that point because you have a man advantage. You know, you can rotate an extra player to help you out. You can really waste time of the opponents. But he wanted to make a play, and what he did was he threw a nade down to the ramp, which basically feigns that he's falling back, and then he goes for a re-peak. Obviously, you know, he took a risk there, and as you mentioned, James, Bentet was just holding that position because there were so many players there for Gen.G. They could always afford to just have one guy holding for the re-peak regardless of the situation. And so it just that risk did not pan out. You can see Bentet just getting the kill there in the replay. So yeah, that one risk from Legia could turn things here for Gen.G. And sometimes that's what Counter-Strike comes down to, like this one moment with one player. But I fear for them, if they are unable to turn it around from this point, I don't think they have any other chances.
Short tech pause. One player needs to reconnect to the server before we will continue the proceedings. 8-13 if you are just joining us. Gen.G are trailing. They've won half the rounds in this half, but obviously there was a big lead for Envy, who had a very successful T-side in the first half. Gen.G trying to turn things around now. They've managed to win 2 rounds in this half by destination, which is promising. Gen.G on the left, Envy on the right. So again, you can just about see the blind between the players. If you look at the logos in the middle, that black line in between is actually a drape, which comes down from the ceiling when the game starts, so they can shout at each other, but they can't see each other. There is the drape. Marvelous. Look at that drape. In terms of drape, Stan, that's a top-tier drape, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's doing its job.
It is doing its job indeed. So obviously you can see, like Som on the camera here, if he ate a flashbang, the players on the other side wouldn't be able to see it. So if they threw a flash in a choke point through a smoke, for example, they wouldn't have that extra information, which used to be some of the kind of sneaky, unspoken stuff on LAN.
I think this is an interesting performance so from Envious because, again, despite having, as it was mentioned on the couch, a player that is really not the same kind of player as Moose. It's a situation where they're actually performing really well together, and obviously it does help that Legia's the coach and so on. And he himself has played a variety of different roles in his career as a pro player in the past, of which he was playing pro Counter-Strike for a long time. So very experienced, and as I mentioned, there can be a lot of options for your coach, which we have seen in the past, which have been far from ideal. And Leg is probably one of the better situations that we have seen. If you look at, for example, that one time where, let's say, NIP, they just got, threat coaching. This is like back in MLG Columbus, and he actually hadn't touched, hadn't actually played the game like a year plus. He was extremely rusty at that point, and so you're throwing that guy who hasn't been touching a mouse in that kind of fashion, it's so long. That's going to be a disaster. Situations like that, or like with Zeus, like Zeus always standing in for Team Liquid, like only buying a Z at a major and so on and so forth. Like there's been so many awkward situations with stand-ins in the past, but it's working out for Envious.
Why is he making noises like that? That's so weird.
Hello.
How small is Kusta? How small is Kusta? He looks really small. If you look at like the side profile, he's so much lower in the chair than everybody else. It's like, where's he? He's just pretty. Look, all his out of focus cameras, marvelous. They're all focused on the background.
It's a nice
See, look, where is he? You can't even see him. Look, he's so much lower than everyone else. Look, he's tiny.
At least the postures, pretty
yeah,
good.
we saw some very unusual postures yesterday, but these postures are on point, man.
Tessus,
I respect these postures.
You gotta fix your posture, man.
Yeah, someone better talk to him. Oh, there he is.
Maybe
He's
cool
popped up a
now
little bit.
when you're young. But in 10 years, man, I'm telling you.
When you're Dan Zane, you'll need assistance to wipe your bum if you sit like that. Isn't that right, Dan?
Yeah. You don't want to get that, a bulging disc herniation, James.
The bulging what?
Disc. Either way, moving on from spinal injuries, we'll have a situation here, getting back into the game where, well, I'm actually just generally quite impressed how Envious are just finding the kills. Like firepower-wise, they're looking really good so far, and that's something that I think for me was a question. We also heard on the, I think it was Sean that said it.
Hold on. Can we get a cameraman to look at Kusta's mouse pad a bit, because it looks like it's rotated in like a diamond shape.
Right.
Like it's lined up. People often line their mouse pads up with the monitor, so it doesn't move as much. Very sorry I interrupted you, Dan. But I
You're
just
not
noticed.
sorry.
I am sorry.
And I accept that you're not sorry.
I am sorry. They can't do the shot right now. We're about to get back into the game, but maybe there's something I can look at later. But I just noticed it's a diamond shape, which is interesting. But anyway, the game is live once again. 13 rounds for Envy. We've got the usual smokes going up, and let's get into the game ASAP, because Kusta's made his way in towards that Olofmeister position. He's really far forward with the Krieg. So far, so good. Calyx has been taken out. Gen.G on the comeback trail.
It's a huge pick, because you can see Kusta can actually fall back into relative safety, but he's going to double down here, try to get some more damage with this forward positioning. He might just find it. Great pick onto Nifty. He might just have another one. Ryan's in trouble now. That HE will be sending across towards Connector. Kusta doing so much, creating space for the entire team. Leggy can't hit the shot, but Kusta certainly can with the Deeg, and that'll leave Ryan on his lonesome. And Kusta has something to say about that. What a quad kill from him, an explosive start out of the timeout. He is not messing around, and they needed that. Look at what it's done. That's the hard reset button. Kusta just smashed the reset button with his fist, James. There's nothing left for Envious.
Yeah, storming into the A-bomb site. Now, I guess one question is, how many more rounds like that do they need in order to tie things up? They've broken the money for Envy. A tactical timeout has been called by Envy. They're 3 rounds away from victory. And we're going to see the mouse pad, I believe. There we go. So you can see, like, it's lined up in a diamond fashion, which is really interesting, and I guess raises super nerdy questions about, like, what area of the mouse pad you use versus sensitivity and so on. Because how many mouse pads do you see in a diamond shape versus, obviously, the normal square? Not many.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it just comes down to the comfort of not wanting to run out of space. So, for him?
I know, but isn't that less space if it's diamond shape?
Well, no, it depends. I mean, like, if, for example, it's going to be wider. If he's at an angle, like you can see, his arms entering the mouse pad, as it were, from a diagonal fashion from the bottom right corner, then he's going to have more lateral space, horizontal space.
I don't believe you. We have a rush from the B bomb site. There are grenades for that, actually. If you're able to... Well, there's also Kriegs for that as well. Kusta and Bentet hand in hand with Daps for a cameo appearance. So basically, where the Ts are blocking each other there, you can throw HEs from that position with a certain timing if you're expecting a B rush on Eco, which will absolutely devastate the opponent. I think it was, I want to say it was MVP who used to do that. I want to say they did that to a Brazilian team. I think I made a little video of that some months ago, but definitely something to look up. Anyway, Gen.G now have closed the gap to 4. Envy are still, I mean, that decimation earlier was so bad that they're still on pistols.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the way that Gen.G needed to come back into this one, and it's pretty cool seeing how comfortable the teams are as well, having the opportunity to feel the freedom that they can shout at their opponents if they want to. It's cool seeing teams doing that, just enjoying that, because it's cathartic, man. It's also cathartic. You get a nice play, you want to rub it in their face. You want them to feel the dejection, maximum deflation.
Feels good. 1 minute 10. Don't overplay your time advantage here, Gen.G. Nifty creeping now. Grenades start to chime in. There's a pop flash play. Dap starts the proceedings. Nifty's completely blind. Kusa now keeping an eye on things. There's detail here from Gen.G. That will certainly help them. Ryan now left of the USP by Oil. Spotted and swatted. Someone's voice cracking there as he sings a song of anger and revenge. Gen.G also make it to double figures now. They have won 5 of the last 6 rounds. But now Team Envy are finally on the buy once again. 2 AWPs and full grenades for most.
Okay, so it's really, things are starting to sour for Envious here, that's for sure. Gen.G will pick up, things with their default. Only got Som by himself towards Ivy. He has been actually quite annoying with the AWP, but he has been playing this position. Now they have some data of his tendencies. They know that he has this proclivity to pick up the AWP and to hold these angles. And there goes a flash. It actually seems like Legia was not flashed, but he did miss against the wide swing. And now they've got to be cautious of the repeat. They know that, again, Legia, I think historically, if they ever played against him in his professional career, he loves to repeat stuff. So we'll see that he isn't going to go for that option here. He's actually going to fall back.
He loves it.
He learned his lesson after last time.
Yeah, try and limit the variance. And you've got to change your position as well. You can't play the same positions on the CT side. You must be unpredictable. A smoke grenade to create space, and there's plenty to come after it. All the junk thrown into the B bomb site. Legia now hiding behind the smoke. Scopes in. Oh, lovely shot there as Kusa starts charging. Legia delivers another kill, bomb on the floor now, and Daps is alone. 1 versus 4. They can't afford to lose rounds here, Gen.G. Envy are just 3 away, soon to be 2 surely, and there it is.
Can't stop Nifty. He's simply too strong right now. He's looking so good. The AWP's really working so nicely for Envious. And you can see Legia Legia had so much time to deal with that. Because I think, we could hear the step on the woods. And interestingly as well, there's been so many different updates to Counterstrike, and the footstep sounds on different surfaces was one of the ones I think that, I don't know when that happened, like a year ago or something?
A while ago.
A year and a half. That's obviously really helped Legia there.
Big flashbangs into A main, which is a great way to stop a rush from a T side, because you can spam them with mollies, but normally at least one person's got to be ahead of those mollies. The HEs can do some good damage as well, but the flashbangs just keep them in the choke points for the most part, and obviously those rushes have been a problem. So that may be an adjustment from MV, dumping those flashes into T-Con. Now what did Gen.G do? Ryan looking to answer these jumps from Kusta. He'll announce his presence. Some Morse code from both. It's up to Gen.G to find a way in somewhere.
It's tense stuff, isn't it, right now? Gen.G, this has got to be the round that works out for them. Only 1 AWP here, but Nifty, he's been so sick with it. Automatic's waiting for some information play from the CTs, but it's never going to come, it seems. But until the moment they give up the position, and now no one can trade for Som. That's such bad timing for Gen.G. Well played by Envious. And in the chaos of that, Ryan's pushed T connector.
Oh, Gen.G getting completely shut down now. The timing was perfect for Mihu to start bringing out the gimmicks. Here's the sound cues, takes 1 player out. Here's the scope as well. So he knows Gen.G are just simply out of position. And now there might be some footsteps, I don't know, because time is so low, they might have to run. Legia's going to take liberties as well. Envy have so many T choke points, it's ridiculous. And if he allows him to go downstairs and just stops the plant later on, that's going to be huge as well. The spray is messed up by Calix, but Legia here is starting to be an MVP for Envy on trains, and they move to game point.
And there's no bomb plant as well, which will be annoying, but Gen.G do have enough money to get a full buy-in again. And Envious, it doesn't really seem like, it seems like they found a really good groove here, especially in the slower rounds. And so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see another really fast outside play, something like that from Gen.G to just mix it up a little bit. The fact that at this point you're playing against map point doesn't really matter too much. You have to pick the round which makes the most sense in terms of how do I catch my opponents off guard, how do I put my players in a position to succeed. Slow rounds have not been working so far. We'll see if they will mix things up at all. But they will slow things down again. Another default here from Gen.G.
Oh, jumping into the flames essentially to catch the CTs off guard. I think you were probably expecting Automatic to jump down a second or two later at best. And maybe that's it for Gen.G. Charging into the A-bomb site once again. Nifty's in the battle zones now, lining them up, but he can't quite finish off. Automatic down to 6 HP, but he's alive. 2 plays remain for Envy. Gen.G need 5 from 5 here. This would be the first one. It's a long road back, but they can do it. Legia creeping. Won't be able to do anything. Calix now almost getting to Dax, but some will shut him down. And Gen.G are back. Now, the money's not spectacular here for Envy, so there's a decision to be made here. How many buy rounds do they want?
That's that cross there from Mihu. That was everything. Nifty, actually, by the way, Nifty's so fast with the orb. He did that 180. He was ready. He knew exactly what was going to happen. You're not always going to hit the shots in those situations, but again, I just want to really highlight the form that we're seeing from Nifty. He's on point and then some right now, but speeding things up here is going to be Daps, and it's the old. I think it's fair to say, Carrigan busted this out with mouse sports, the new look mouse sports first here. Just the stack towards the old bomb train with the USPs. It's actually it can be pretty dangerous sometimes. We'll see if they get any success. You can see that's going to spot it, and there you go. They've got a kill from it.
Now, they're not really in position to capitalize on this too much, Gen.G, in terms of the bomb location. But Bentet's made his way in towards the B bomb site, not overcommitted, and he'll catch Mihu on the rotation, so all will be well. Legia not close to... Oh, that's a jumping dink, but he won't be able to finish off the job. No weapons taken into the next round.
Every time I see jumping headshots when a player aims on someone's head when jumping with a gun, I just get triggered instantly. I'm just raging. I'm just so mad. Why is this thing, James?
I thought you'd like it as a Quake player.
Yeah, but I play. That's a Quake thing. It's not a Counterstrike thing, is it?
3 rounds needed now for Gen.G. They've got 2 in a row so far. They have been, I dare say, dominant in terms of the. If you look at the scoreboard when it's up, you'll see. I guess from the last 7 rounds, they've won 5. But again, they can't drop any more rounds. Envy have game point. They need 1 round. They need 1 good buy to close things out. They will buy in this round. Calix will have the UMP. The rest of them will be on a normal stuff. Double AWPs once again. Nifty and Legia. Legia's had impact frags in this game. I don't think he's played a game since August, but he has had impact frags. And normally, well, often you might say impact frags, but somebody might have less frags. But he's pretty much keeping up with his teammates here. A very important job on the B bomb site, but it's Nifty who's heading over towards B now. Legia's going over towards the Ivy area, so there's a little change up in that respect. Bentet charging out once again, Calix through the smoke. These flashbangs haven't quite hit the mark, but this time they will. Bentet taken out, and there's the upgrade he needed.
That's huge. Really big pickup. Automatic has so much to do, but look at the fact that now they can shut off the choke points. So not only have they lost a Krieg, lost some space on A, but they have no ability to know what's happening behind that smoke, and that creates huge issues. There'll be the boost here for Automatic. Oh, there's actually a gap, so I'll take that statement back. Did not notice the gap initially. That will give them some more information, but indeed, they're down a player. How do they recover from this? Automatic's trying to find a pick, but it can't be all on him, but he will get that pick onto Calix. Maybe they'll think that was the ladder player. And indeed, there is some info, just checking. That's important. Ryan's there, so they know where one of the 4 remaining players is.
Automatic holding. Oh my god, he's tagged him. He's seen the barrel of his gun as well. He knows he's dead. And that's such an important trade from Kustar. He had to deliver that. Legia going for the flicks now. Legia and Nifty, all that remain. The rotation's coming in through the smoke. Nifty's creeping, and some will take him out. He's just waiting. They more or less started as 4 versus 5 here, Gen.G. They've turned things around though, but Legia, he's 1 versus 3. He's taken Som out, rotates towards Ivy, spots one of the players. The bomb's planted, he knows roughly where everybody is. Now he seems committed to this. 1 versus 2. One was near T-Con. Where is the bomb planter? Scoped in already, but that really obscures his vision. Kokusta, the other side of the train, looking towards Ivy now. He's actually, if he goes around this train, he would see everything. He doesn't have a kit though, so it seems that he will fall back. So many close angles. He spots the head there. There's a free one. He wants to go for it again, but once more, he's got to find the kill quickly because he doesn't have a kit. It's a 10-second defuse, and Kokusta sees enough. He's a footman. And there's round number 13 for Gen.G, and it's Eco Town once more.
Yeah, this gets really interesting. We can't really put it past the team to win a round with just pistols in this game because the pistols are so strong. But yeah, Gen.G are in a position to really realistically get that overtime, and who knows what happens from that point forwards. Really key kill from Som there to take down Nifty. I feel like if Nifty is alive with an AWP, anything is possible. Doesn't matter how many players are left alive. Nifty is playing so damn well, and we know how explosive he can be.
I love that nothing's being purchased in this round for Envy.
Yeah.
They have 2 rounds left. They need 1 round with as much as they can possibly buy. 1 full round to the best of their ability. Invest everything into that one. Put your best foot forward. No need to handicap yourself for that final round to come. So there'll be all USPs here. And things are going as they should be. Deletion. Gen.G now with 3 frags. Nifty and Legia waiting for their certain doom. Nifty creeping forward, automatic got the angle, but again, we're just waiting for that final round, that 30th round now. Nifty will consider the exit play. Anything that can be picked up potentially would be of use. Now this is where the pressure really rises for Envy. Maybe their best chance to win the game comes the next round. And here come the man dem. We got some tea bags. Get the kettle on the go.
Okay, this is it. Gen.G, they've got a comeback happening. It's not going to be that they'll be able to win it in regulation, but they can force an overtime. It's all these rounds though do feel it's not like they're running over Envious in some of these rounds. It has been very dangerous in every single round. It's very tense. And in some of the rounds, they've actually gone down with, or they've gone down to a disadvantage at the beginning and so on. So again, running that default, they actually have the. I was gonna say the bomb was moving this way with Som towards Ivy, but he's actually going back now. Are they going just for a straight out delayed split on the upper bomb side here? It looks like that might be the case. Some forward smokes, indeed. They're keeping it simple here, James. Just going for those wide swings, trying to win these duels, but it's trades, and it's looking like it's good for Gen.G so far, but there it is, Ryan on the bomb train to do some more damage.
It's been all about these rushes into the A bomb site, and now Legia, the stand-in, the coach, is alone. And a 1 versus 3. And that's not going to work out, as you can hear. Ooh, Daps has been quiet this entire time. Now he's starting to pop off as well. Who is this Daps?
What's amazing here is that I think the favor heavily swings towards Gen.G now, because I think again, I don't think the analysis going into this game was wrong to say that Envious are the underdog team. Gen.G now have loads of data on how their opponents are playing this map with their stand-in. So I think that only bodes poorly for Envious moving forward. So we'll have to see what they can do to answer what is Gen.G now, a confident Gen.G now.
Yeah, it's a whole new game. A whole new game now. Everything is reset, but Gen.G come into this one hot, whereas it was most certainly a cold start on the CT side for them. But they will continue here on the T side with momentum. That said, Envy won't have the shortcomings and lack of money they had earlier, so things may still change. The 2 AWPs won't change, though. We'll see if Legia heads towards the B bomb site again. Maybe it was spawn-based when he was over towards Ivy. Maybe they want to keep things unpredictable, and maybe it's spawn-based again, because Nifty's going towards the upper side of the B bomb site, actually. And this time Legia is facing Connector, not in Ivy where Miku is. So it's all changed now. That's a nice flick from Nifty. if they pay attention to the kill feed, they will realize that there's been a change. Envy changing things up here in overtime.
For sure, and you know that it's going to be difficult to recover from this, given that Envious have these forward positions. Nifty had inner still; he saw that there's no one there. Calyx sees that there's no one in T main, so you know now you've got to ask some questions. Okay, well we see where they're not, and what is the possibility for where they must be then by element of deduction, of elimination?
Yeah, we saw an automatic rotation from Legia there going through connector, but based on the comms, I guess, between him and Nifty saying there's no indication that there's a B play coming. He did seem to be looking on the ramp position with the AWP, so he's confident to be alone. In the meantime, we've got two players creeping up Ivy as we see Bentet and Automatic going down towards B. So Gen.G are making inroads all over the map, but there's a pop flash, so Team Envy are aware of what could be. Smoke is up now from the T side, and Leg is creeping around the back.
They're trying to go for a fake here as well. This is really interesting because Envy are pretty sold that it's going to be a play on the A-bomb side.
Behind, they've gone past each other.
Oh my god, Dabs. It's going to take down Leg. It's going to cause so much chaos. What do they do with the bomb here? I think there's a lot of indecision as to where to put the bomb. And right now, everyone died on the A site, and now they don't have inroads to either bomb side. And there's only 20 seconds to go. I think they've outplayed themselves here, James. This is not a good look. And Ryan's okay. Well, Benter's going to be able to deal with that, but in comes another flank. And I think there's too much indecision there. It was going to be a fake, and then they brought the bomb back to ladder, and then they were in a position where the A guys died, and they couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think it was really unfortunate for all concerned in that little vacuum where I think it was Daps and Mihu, or whoever it was, missed each other in the smoke. So Daps probably thinking, okay, I've got solid position here, and his flank gets flanked, and it all falls to pieces. 16-15 for Envy. Calyx cleaning up, bleaching the floors at the end. We've got 4 Kriegs on deck for Gen.G. AWP for Automatic once again. Calyx quickly warding Gen.G away from the ladder position. Some regions, it's called pop, but the older school players will consider pop something else on train. Ryan going for an aggressive play, not working out for him. So we've got an early 5 versus 4 here for Gen.G.
And now they're trying to make their way forwards with Calyx. He's announced his position in the ladder room, and he's picked up the kill on Dabs. So he's looking pretty good now for Envious once again. It's just about this real estate. Envious, we can judge this by the previous round too. They're really good in terms of being proactive, trying to get space on the map. What does it mean that we see that there's no one here, or that we see there's one guy here, or that there's a smoke here? What does it mean? Let's keep moving players around. They keep trying to stay ahead of the game. And so that's a really good sign, especially given the fact that they have a stand-in, but they're so active. But back into this round, we've got Gen.G going for that delayed inner play, and I have to see if this is going to work out for them because there are players in position to deal with this. 2 on this side, including Nifty on that AWP. That's a hard shot to hit, though.
Legia will deliver, but he'll get traded this time by Kusa. No multi-frag for him. Nifty with another good flick. He's kept it competitive. It's a 2-on-2, but his teammates need to get through these choke points, and Kusa makes his way forward. But does he have the timing to look in the right place at the right time? Calyx spots him. Kusa jumps down. Eventually to his doom. We've got Mihu coming in from the back. Automatic now in a sandwich, has no idea where Mihu could be coming from, but can he look at the right place at the right time? Such is the question. Every corner you turn on train. Automatic eventually seeing Calyx, but it will be 2 from 2 for Team Envy. We spoke about momentum and so on for Gen.G, but it's been all Envy so far in overtime.
Yeah, that was a really smart play from Calyx, because of everything that he saw and his teammates saw, he kind of put together the most likely options there, and just, it's like, what is the one thing that could really screw us over here as well? It's a flank in this position. My teammate has position on the bomb. Really, really smart from Calyx. What a great game sense from him. Okay, as you say, indeed, James, it does look like Envious are responding really, really strongly, even despite giving up all those rounds to allow Gen.G to get that overtime. They're responding really well here in this overtime. 2 rounds unanswered. Can they make it a clean sweep? Gen.G, they've really got to get at least 1 here to keep their chances going, and that's a good start. Kusa with the entry frag on Ivy. Mihu falling. Nifty's taking some damage as well. He's down to 37 health.
Yeah, 5v4 very much needed, and it seems that Lecky is going to get aggressive here towards the B bomb site. He's looking to flank with the AWP. I'm not sure when he's scoped in and if it's been heard, but some goes up the ladder. And again, someone's going to get timed here, surely, but who's it going to be? Oh my god, Leggia's got the sound cue, and he's got a kill, made sure of that one. In the meantime, Calyx trying to keep people honest around that main position, but can't quite get the spray. But he's got the information because Daps is carrying the bomb.
indeed. And Legia, he's in ladder room with that AWP. He's could be really annoying here. Just his mere presence alone, even if he doesn't commit to peaks. Here it comes, the push through Ivy, the split from Ivy and T-Main. And there's a good defense on the bombs train. This is actually pretty decent for Envy's. Despite being down a man, they've got good positioning. Again, Legia is really cutting off one half of the push here. And look how much vision he can get. But he will go down, Daps, able to get the kill. At least now Ryan and Nifty on this bomb train to try to do something here. Here comes the swing from Ryan. Bentest ready, as is Kusta. They get the one round that they need going into the swap.
Yeah, and they finally pierced the seal of Envy. You don't want a 0-3 in overtime as you move into the second half. Defensive side, though, will be something for Gen.G, but again, what's happened to that success? Maybe some frustration on the faces of these players. They are behind once again. But now as the sides change, maybe everything else will change. See if Envy can repeat the brute force success that Gen.G had going into the A-bomb site, or if they'll take a different approach. Single AWP for both sides. Saw Envy favouring 2, maybe to help Legia out. That certainly was successful. Got the initial grenades again to deny vision of the choke points from Envy. But who will get the initial frag?
Daps actually, I think, top fragging at the moment for his team. And Automatic will take down Legia. Just trying to go really fast there in Ivy, but Automatic keeps him honest. And now this is a rough start for Envious. Nifty. Back at the shenanigans once again. Some keeping himself alive, just barely. 4 HP. Nifty. He's just doing damage.
Oh, no.
All these frags coming through are crazy. Nifty on 1 HP.
Yeah, some alive is a problem as well. As you could see, just avoided that last tick of the flames and manages to get a shot through the smoke as well. That is pretty unreal. And that keeps a man advantage for Gen.G. Oh, Mihew's looking old bomb. It's going to be a free frag for Daps. Requires a second burst, but he gets there. And again, Nifty, 1 HP, Jesus. 1 versus 3. Gets a free one on Daps as he's running around. What about the rest of the players? He's got just under 1 minute to do this, Nifty. We've got some now by Oil on B, so unbeknownst to Nifty, he's got a fair amount of space to move with. First looking on the A train, just about misses Kusta as he repositions. But again, the timing, the scope might be enough. Kusta gets there, and the score is tied.
Ooh, that was a close one. Nifty, man, just surviving with just nothing. 1 HP. I was seeing the 1 HP ace. I was looking for it, but not to be this time around from Nifty. But you can see all the work that he's been doing here. Som as well, doing some just dancing around the flames here, surviving very low HP, finding a timing onto Ryan. I think Ryan expected that position to be clear. Maybe there's a miscommunication, I'm not sure, but regardless, 17-17 indeed. Let's see what Envy decide to do this time.
Mihew playing anti-flash, I guess. Just keeping himself out of harm's way. Daps alone on the B-bomb site, as per usual. Bentet deep by ladder. Some with an off angle towards T-Main. Automatic dealing with Ivy, looking for a boost, but it's just Legia for the time being, who's creeping. Maybe not as adventurous as he was in the previous round where he went down early. The opening kill. Maybe playing off his teammates this time. Looks like he'll be setting up some grenades towards the Ivy position to run distraction. In the meantime, we've got to focus towards the B bomb site. Don't know if Daps is close enough to get any sound cues. Saw some jumping around there. Kusta will get a preemptive Molotov up just before the grenades are deployed by Envy.
Yeah, that's really annoying. He's also got a Krieg too. He's the only guy with a Krieg on the CT side, and he's got a very strong position with it. So this should be very difficult for Gen.G, or rather, sorry, for Team Envious to break this defense. But that said, Kusta's moving close to the smoke now. We'll have to see what he's going to do with this. He has the ability to push. There comes the push. He gets the double. And there's one more to be had as well, potentially, if that swing comes through upper. But Legia, oh my god, he's able to take down 2, making things somewhat competitive here for Nifty, who has the bomb. But there are CTs close, and he knows it, so he's going to have to be very creative with this situation. He's going to commit to the plant on the side.
Nifty with half the information. Molotov's being deployed now, looking for that trade fragger. Very fast, Nifty. Has he got a sound cues? Such an awkward angle, but Bentet will clutch around for his teammate. He'll make sure that Nifty is dead as he moves to round number 18. Game points now in the hands of Gen.G. Very tight rounds, though.
This is kind of crazy. If you think about it, it feels like Gen.G have been playing from behind the whole map. And if they're to win it, it still feels like they were behind the until the very last round, which they won. You know, that's that. If they win this round, that's how it's going to feel.
Kusta and Daps putting in the big numbers. Kusta 32 for 18, Daps 30 for 22, leading by example.
The post Jason O'Toole era.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
I like how you can coin that.
The only 2 players in the 30 frags mark. Nifty is 27 for 21, but he might need a few more if they are to stay in this game, Envy. Kusta goes deep now towards the IV position, and this just wastes time for Envy.
Yeah.
This denies them any presence towards Ivy, which they have to assume will make the CTs more expectant elsewhere. So they kind of have to combat this before they can do anything. So it just kills loads of their time, and this is how they'll do it with a flash. But Leggy doesn't go forward, maybe looking for some spray or something, an AWP, some kind of information, but there's no response here from Gen.G.
Yeah, as you say, it's like very disruptive. If you study a team and they have lots of IV defaults, it's just super annoying to have to spend so much time if you want to run that IV default. It really changes the timings that you would otherwise have. And another aggressive smoke coming through.
Really aggressive.
So this is pretty cool to see. It's a good response because it kind of makes those smokes that we see from Envious outside not be as valuable as they could otherwise have been.
And look where Automatic is playing Ivy from. He is on the bomb train, basically. So he has forced Envy's hand to some degree to show some presence. And with 39 seconds on the clock yet, they're only through 1 choke point, but that flashbang won't matter. Automatic has the right timing. This could be the end here for Envy on train. Looks like the dream is collapsing. Automatic delivers another frag. He's got great cover as well. Great CT support. Creeping around his Bentet, and they're all falling to pieces now. Legia 1 versus 5 with 20 seconds on the clock, and it's not going to happen. Gen.G take train.
Yeah, excellent comeback from them. I didn't expect to see it, honestly, James. Like, given the start that we had out of Envious, I wasn't sure that they would get going quickly enough to deal with that. So really impressive stuff, and you can see at the end there, they knew what they knew what was coming. They disrupted the Ivy default by throwing those smokes down, and throwing all those smokes down really made problems.
Yeah, that was a huge comeback by Gen.G. Again, so close, Envy. 13 rounds, but couldn't quite get there to finish things off. It is break time. When we're back, there's plenty more CS action to come.